We have the NLC president now, Comrade Ayuba Wabba. Good morning to you, Comrade Wabba.
Yes, good morning.
Thank you very much for making the time for us. Okay, the action, the sort of, in fact, we want to know what to call it. Is it a rally? Is it a protest? But this action going on in state capitals across the country before the event, the final event tomorrow. So what is the proper nomenclature for this particular action?
Yes, it's a protest.
It's a protest?
Yes, it's a protest rally.
Oh, where?
Actually, to draw attention on the fact that our tertiary institutions, particularly universities, have been shut down for the past 5 months. And all attempts to make sure that there is progress on the discussion to reopen the universities have not yielded any result. And basically, you know that time lost is not also time that can be gained. It's the children of the poor and the children of the working class. So everybody is affected. But importantly, we are more affected because also all the 4 unions involved, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, National Association of Academic Technologies, Non-Academic Staff Union, and also the Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities. All of them are also members of NLC, and their membership are membership of NLC. So we are directly involved. It's not solidarity. We are directly involved as an organization, and that's why we thought that we should be able to lend our voice, but also to prompt for an action so that this issue can be resolved once and for all. And this is like a matter of making sure that it's also brought to public attention and, importantly, the attention of government. Because softly, we have also done a lot of things behind the scene, including writing proactive letters. Before the issue degenerated to the level of strike, we wrote several letters. And importantly, also, we're able to try to intervene. But all these interventions have not been able to yield the desired results, and basically time is still being lost, but importantly those kids are still at home. In fact, to compound the issue, we have 3 sets of students that are also processing their admission for the past 3 years. Also, they are still actually in this whole quagmire of not being able to complete the process of their admission, and they are also affected. So it's a very serious issue. And you know, education is very fundamental to promote schools' well-being. So that's why NLC, after a lot of other efforts, thought that this is just the first line. The second line of action will be then a 3-day strike if this action fails. So basically, it's not a strike, but it's actually a national protest which is taking place across the length and breadth of this country.
Okay, so as you put it, it's like a protest rally, you know, in support of Asuu. But as you're also pointing out, they're all members of NLC anyway, so you're not outside to the matter. Is it a rally in the sense that it's not a strike has not been called? A strike has not been called, so shops can open, offices are open. Nobody's expected to leave his duty post. But whoever can join will join. Is that the correct way to view it?
Yes, there is a difference between a strike. A strike means you withdraw your services. And we know the implication of that. That's why we are taking time before we do that, except it becomes a matter of utmost necessity. And where there is insensitivity to the plight of those kids and also the plight of we, the parents. Except it becomes necessary. This is just like the first leg to actually raise the attention of government that this issue is of serious concern to us as workers, and even adds to injury. Those workers in the universities, all of them, their salary have been suspended for the past 5 months, some 3 months, and you know also that they have families. And I could remember the last high-powered meeting we had with government, where our religious leaders were also in attendance, especially His Eminence the Sultan of Sokoto and the current president. Part of the plea on the table, we even try to resolve the issue, is to go and pay their salaries that were withheld. Because the labor administration in respect to some of those issues have been very dynamic, and it has changed. It's no longer the issue of servant-master relationship. It's a relationship that is supposed to be mutual between the employer and the employee, and with respect to the provisions of our laws. And that's why in labor parliament, when you sign agreement, those agreements like judgments of the court. They can be reviewed, but they are like judgments of the court that ought to be respected. And where they are not respected, you can then go and invoke the no work, no pay rule, because it is just the employer or government have actually violated a collective bargaining agreement. So in the context of this, if you then invoke no work, no pay, and the workers' union and their workers also invoked no pay, no work, you know that we are already at a situation that is actually desirous of solution. Yeah. This is where we are right now. And basically, the issues are not very tidy up. And what we need to do now is to tidy up this process and get those universities open for the benefit of Nigerian students, because education is a very key necessity to address poverty, inequality, but importantly, is also a fundamental right of citizens, particularly those young ones.
Okay. Quite frankly, there are those who, for instance, one of our callers has said that he discerns a political motive to this particular protest action, rally, that now we have a lot of issues on ground, and in the midst of all the complications, if NLC is throwing its weight behind Asuu, it will only complicate the matter. First of all, react to that whole matter about the suspicion of any political aspect to this rally that has been called.
Simple. Maybe it's first to define, or let's try to understand, what is politics. Politics, in its real definition, it's about how a state is governed, how you allocate resources, how you take decisions, and how you are able to address issues. That is the definition of politics. So possibly the person may not have understand the import of saying that it's politics. Is it also politics to keep our children, the children of the poor and the working class, 5 months out of classroom? Is it also politics to delay the negotiation process? Is it also politics not to act proactively? Those are the issues. I think we should be able to distill, yes, we are in political season, and people are free to try to act and behave in a way and manner that will not address the issue. I agree with him, yeah, it's a political season, and attention has been diverted to the issue of politics, leaving the substantive issues. But I assure you that this is a very key and germane issue that we think that it should be given all the desired attention. In fact, everything should be brought to a halt until we are able to solve this issue. So I want to assure you that possibly you spoke from the point of lack of understanding. Even what is the definition of politics? Okay. What is the politics of it? Yeah, it's politics. It's about politics also for those concerned to take decisions. If they don't take decision, you don't also expect citizens to fold their arms. We are a pan-Nigerian organization, and from time immemorial, we have acted in the best national interest. That is one credential that the Nigerian Labour Congress have had, and I think this is one of them.
The Asuu has been unsuccessful trying to mediate on the matter, and as you said, with many people as intermediaries, Asuu themselves have tried, and it seems that they're not getting joy from government. You're well aware of all those efforts Asuu has tried since the, back in February. Now, I don't know how optimistic you are, because this looks like a mass action to force a resolution which is sorely needed. How optimistic are you, given that a government has not been able to come across, the authorities have not been able to come across, meet Asuu at a place where, they can say, fine, this is compromise. It looks like whatever it is Asuu has been offered, if anything at all, it just isn't worth it to take it. So how optimistic are you that that same center of authority will do things differently this time?
Yes, first let me try to explain. It's not only Asuu. The 4 university-based unions have all withdrawn their services. Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities, National Association of Academic Technologies, and Non-Academic Staff Union. And all of them borders on one issue, the review of the 2009 agreement and the funding of our Nigerian universities. And let me try to break it down into pieces so that you can understand. The funding of Nigerian universities has its roots from the need assessment report of government. It's not the unions. Need assessment report was carried out under the chairmanship of Professor Mahmoud Yakub. That report had been accepted by the National Executive Council and is also approved for implementation since 2011. And if you look at that report, picture at the back of that report, you can see students taking lectures from the window instead of being inside the hall because the hall is filled up. It's about bringing our universities to the level where learning and teaching facilities will be available and we can compete favorably with contemporaries of Nigerian universities around the world. So basically, it's very patriotic, and we should be able to look at that. The second aspect is about the payment platform, which is in dispute. Since the deployment of IPs, even in the core civil service, I can tell you that I've received several reports. And proactively, we wrote to government, can you have a social dialogue where this issue can be resolved? Before it even degenerated to this level, we wrote. So it's one of the issues, and many other issues. But importantly also is the review of the 2009 agreement. I can tell you that from 2009 agreement to date, those workers have been on fixed salary. And that is why a professor in Nigeria, even if you have 7-8 PhDs, will not be earning up to $700. $700, I said. Because no Nigerian professor or worker in the university is earning 500,000 naira. We have in other climes, even within Nigeria, in other establishments, where driver can earn actually 500,000, and they are earning. I can give you a lot of examples. So basically, because of that, there have been a lot of brain drain. There has also been a lack of job satisfaction. Workers earn to earn a living. Everybody work to earn a living, to be able to have a family, to take care of his family. That's why people work to earn a living. But you also know that with the challenges in our economy, with the exchange rate of 607 naira to the dollar today, basically, if you are within the category of those workers, you know that it's really valid. And that agreement of 2009 have expired, and therefore it needs to be renegotiated. They are not fixated, saying that you must give us this. No, they are ready to negotiate, and from the assurance I've received from all of the unions, they are ready even within 48 hours for those issues to be sorted out. In the past 5 months, it has been moving from Ministry of Education to Labor to Education, and the issues have remained unresolved. And you remembered that in April, we had to scale it up to the level of the president, where we wrote and pleaded that, can we have a high-powered panel to look at this issue and resolve it once and for all? Why do we say so? In the past, it has happened. I remembered I was part of the panel in 2011, when this issue also degenerated to the level where it is. We wrote to President Jonathan, and he agreed. In fact, he hosted the meeting, 14 hours, no break. Everything was resolved. Every fact was put on the table. Every minister was there. Everybody that had to do with the decision process was there, and the issue was resolved. That's how that 2009 agreement was signed, implemented, and then we had some relative. That agreement of 2009, under the Labor Palace, a collective bargaining agreement have a timeline because of a lot of factors that will affect it. It has expired. In fact, in many sectors, including the private sector, collective bargaining agreements reviewed after every 2 years or 3 years. In this case, let's say even 5 years.
Yeah.
So validly, that collective bargaining agreement have expired.
Okay.
And government on its own have set up 3 committees.
Okay.
Comrade
Wabba, we've got
remember the Babalakin committee.
Yes, our guest, Comrade Ayuba Wabba, President of the Nigeria Labour Congress, is in Abuja, and we are on the line. We're back, President of NLC, and you were talking about the 2009 Memorandum of Understanding that has expired and is, it requires action, a renewal or whatever. This it would appear government is unable to do. You know that bottom line, what government has been saying, bottom line is that we don't have the wherewithal. They always say that, by the way. We don't have the wherewithal to meet the demands of the strike, and so we require understanding.
Well, thank you very much. In fact, before you went on break, I was trying to give the historical context.
Okay.
It's not a memorandum of understanding in Labour Palace. It is a collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, I take the correction. A collective bargaining agreement of 2009.
Collective bargaining agreement. That's what the law recognizes. So, as I was saying, it has timeline. It has also a lifespan. That agreement was due for renegotiation. Renegotiation means all factors will be considered. Ability to pay, every other factor will be considered. So it's not just about saying that the process has been delayed, or that there are a lot of impediments. Is to approach negotiation in good faith and put all the facts on the table. Negotiation must have also timeline. And as I was saying, 3 committees have been set up, and none of them have actually their reports seen the light of the day. It started with the Babalakin committee, you remembered. Then the Professor Munzli Jibrin committee is a government set of committee to negotiate with us, which have been the tradition, with full mandates from government. Our expectation is that any committee government will set is also to give them all the information required and also the full mandate. It's a government committee. So all those 3 committees, including the recently inaugurated BRICS committee that have just made their report, are all committees set up by government with full mandate, I suppose, to be able to negotiate and resolve the issues.
But I'm sure
the 2 other reports.
Comrade, I'm sure you would have sought an explanation. What explanation did you get in the light of these plain facts that you are stating?
No, I'm not sure it's for us to get explanation. If a government set up a committee, you set up a committee, you give them time of reference, you give them what you can afford, and they turn in the report, and you rejected the report, it's for you to give explanation. This is the reason why I thought the report is not tenable. And in any case, why must you wait?
Yeah.
The committee to work for 4 or 5 years, for saying they finish their report and say, well, I'm rejecting the report because of ABC. I'm not sure it's in good faith. Because it's like you are sending somebody on an assignment. You need to give him a very clear picture of what you want him to achieve, and also what timeline he needed to achieve all of that.
Okay.
Not that after he has finished, then you say, no, that you forgot something or something went wrong. I'm not sure it's negotiating in good faith.
Okay, Comrade Wabba, 1 second, please. 1 second, please, Comrade Wabba, because we have to cut to a live section. Our correspondent, Sharon Ijason, is with the Lagos NLC and their protest. Hi, Sharon. Thanks for, coming on. So where are we now? It looks, I was expecting a whole crowd behind you or in front of you, or you be in the midst of them. So what's happening? It looks pretty quiet there.
Massive. I had to step aside to take this live crossing. We had over 1,000 workers here walk from Ikeja under bridge, and right now the workers are approaching the state secretariat right now for one transmission of the demands of NLC to the governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for one transmission to the president of the country, President Muhammadu Buhari.
Well, that's what you have now. Are those buses part of those yellow buses, mini buses I can see? Are they part of transportation?
This is the effect of the protest here that you can see here at Secretariat Alausa Ikeja. We have the workers ahead of these buses. Lagos has been filled with traffic today because of the effect of the workers' protest. And of course, most of the motorists that we spoke with are actually in support of the protest, which is being held by the Nigerian Labour Congress because of the unions under it that have been on strike for a while, which is the Staff Union of University, Asuu, SANU, and NAT. So this is the effect of the protest that is ongoing in Lagos, Nigeria. We have all affiliate members on ground ensuring that the protest is successful.
Yeah, in fact, I was going to ask you about that, security-wise, because as you know, the police
I don't know if you can hear me in the studio.
understandably,
So any moment
were
from
saying
now,
that
the
they
rally
would be
should be
out.
wrapping up here in Lagos, Nigeria, and I think the message has been sent across government. The message is clear. The union is resolute. The Congress remains resolute to that a lasting solution is actually given to the university tertiary. So as far as they are concerned, students have been at home for months, and that cannot or a change. They feel that the federal government will have to take to ensure that students return back to the class.
Okay, Sharon, it's a bit difficult to hear in studio here, but hopefully it's not that way at home. But I was going to, your picture seems to have frozen, but if you can hear me, security seems to be under control, right? Because the police had said that they would be also in evidence to protect both the members of the rally, the protest rally. Yes, that's the way the chairman, the president, I beg your pardon, president of NLC called it, that they will be in attendance to ensure the safety of everything. Well, Mr. President, Sharon's video froze a bit there, but as she was saying, they've arrived to deliver a message to the governor. We'll know if he can take it personally or if he's going to be assisted there by a representative. But the message is going to probably be along the lines of what you have been speaking about as well, because it's just one message. Quite frankly, if they were to codify it, people seem to have adopted an enough is enough posture. Is that indeed an approved slogan? Enough is enough of all of this running around, as you were saying, from labor to the other ministry, education, and from education back to labor. Enough is enough. We want clarity. We want action. Is that correct to say that's what NLC is saying? There is no option beyond that now.
Thank you. Exactly. 5 months down the line, having our children at home certainly is not something will be acceptable to anybody. And it has happened, but we want also the issue to be brought out to an end. That is the main message.
Okay.
That we must all get the issue sorted out and get the universities open, because if not, then are we in perpetuity allowing the situation to continue? I think that is the main message which we have sent out, and that priority need to be given to the issue at the moment.
If, of course, we certainly, I imagine all will certainly hope that this particular protest rally will do the trick. But again, being theoretical about it, if you were not to get joy from this, if things were to remain exactly the same, you had explained that beyond this, then there's a rally tomorrow in Abuja, and failing that, you give some time before you now go on a total strike to really underline what is,
yes, we don't hope that we should actually reach a stage where we need to withdraw services, because that's why we thought that this protest will actually send enough signal that parents, students are not happy, and that something needs to be done. So we hope that this will send a message. But basically, we have taken, as we are aware, 3 lines of decision. After this, we'll also proceed on 3 days national warning strike if nothing happens. And basically, before then, the strike then can also continue. So we thought it's very reasonable, it's very patriotic, that needed to be commended, and that we need to take advantage and leverage of all of these detailed procedures that we have put in motion to be able to resolve the issue once and for all. Maybe it's also that people don't understand the import and the implication of having our children out of school in all public universities for 5 months, But importantly also, we have 3 sets of students that are processing their admission, that the entire process is also hanging in the balance. We're talking about what will affect about 10 million students, I was told. It's about their future. It's also about the future of our country. And this is very, very important and central. Whereas the unions will be ready to make compromises and try to reach a resolution. But I think I've not seen the enthusiasm and also the urgency on the part of government.
But the president...
I say so because of the fact that...
Sorry, the president spoke recently.
Let me land. I say so because of the fact that I said we have done many things behind the scene to try to resolve this issue. Several letters and several consultations. The last one, which we made public, is the one we wrote directly to the president through the chief of staff to urge Mr. President to constitute a high-powered panel and bring every party to the table to resolve the issue once and for all. That was the meeting that was actually conveyed on the 12th of April, where the 2 leaders of our faiths were also there. And the meeting was adjourned because some informations are required, particularly the report of the committee set up by government, and also the report of the integrity test that is being carried out by an agency of government on the various platforms proposed by the unions, including also integrity tests on the current platform IPs. And since then, almost 2 months now, that meeting have not been reconvened. That's why we said we need some urgency. We need people also to go and work assiduously. I was told that at that meeting where the platform is supposed to be tested, whereas at the meeting chaired by the chief of staff, we all agreed that that committee should work from morning till evening. I learned that those agencies of government there said no, they can only work from 12 to 6 p.m., delaying the entire process. So we cannot blame workers or trade unions for lack of urgency in trying to resolve the issue. And that is why we are now, this time around, saying that everybody will be prompted to try to work assiduously, even to respond to the issue. Yes, we are aware in the last 1 week, there was a decision to try to fast-track the process and get issues resolved within 2 weeks. We have already spent 1 week. And I'm not sure any meeting have been held. The unions, well, government may be consulting, but basically no meeting was held with the unions. So I think it's also a problematic if the issues are handled instead of working holistically to try to respond to the issues. So these are perspectives that I think we need to bring to the table, and that we have done also behind the scene to try to push some of those processes. If you remember, the decision to actually hold this national rally was taken twice at our National Executive Council meeting. First, in April, and the second one on the 30th of June, when we saw that progress is not being made, and importantly, the issue is so important to all of us. I was coming from Uyo yesterday after declaring open the annual rain school of the NLC. And I met a woman, I shared this story early today, a woman that is frying Accra. In fact, she accosted me because I was walking past a street and she accosted me. Oh, that is from what she's doing, frying Accra and yam, and she was able to sponsor her son to the university. Now the son had been at home for 5 months. That what are we doing? That she will be doing an action to find a solution around the issues. I said yes. I sympathized with her and said, you are not alone. That some of us are also affected. We have kids in public universities. And basically what we are saying is also what we practice, that we need to also patronize our Nigerian universities so that our kids can also benefit from quality public education. All our leaders.
One moment.
I can say that with nostalgia that all our current leaders, most of them, actually benefited from quality public universities.
Okay, one moment, Comrade Wabba. Comrade Wabba, one moment, please. We have a caller coming in from Major, I believe. Major calling in from Calabar.
No, from Akwa Ibom.
From Akwa Ibom. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning to you, Uncle Yuri.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you very much. And please, I just want to react. I've been listening to the president of NLC.
Yes.
I think my own contribution is that. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right. My own contribution is that I think it will be very pertinent after this peaceful protest. They should go on a strike, because I think what government understand is strike and protest. But I think if they go on strike and let me say like two days, that will mean to the economy of Nigeria. And another thing, if aviation sector can join it, because I think that's one of the sectors that mostly affect our leaders. If they shut down the airline, they won't be able to fly. Remember once that aviation sector was threatening to go on to shut down their work. They just resolved that issue immediately. It was not even up to a day. But because of this strike, because their children are not schooling here, that is the problem that we are having. So I think that if they can shut down those two sectors, and that is the NLC can go on a strike, and aviation sector also join, I think that would be better. And what I'm saying is that someone that is the problem of this particular issue is the Minister of Labor, Chris Ngike, because I can't see a situation that you're still negotiating. I think what the government is trying to do is that they are trying to prolong this issue so that this administration would elapse, so that maybe another administration will come and continue from there. Just imagine.
All right then. All right.
100 billion naira for alleviation of poverty.
Mr. Major, thank you very much for calling in. Comrade Wabba, you heard that viewer, but you've explained earlier that there are stages to this whole matter. He is thinking that a strike is the only language that the authorities understand. Any other thing they might take undue advantage of.
Yes, that's to tell you the level of an extent to which people are actually concerned. And I agree with him that whereas the children of the rich and our political elites are graduating on daily basis from foreign universities, and they have the audacity to post the pictures on various social media, the children of the poor and the working class are actually at home for the past 5 months. So it's not acceptable anywhere. And therefore, that is how Nigerians feel. And that is how we also feel as parents, but importantly, as unionists. The issues can be resolved. There's the will. I'm convinced about that, because all trade union and labor dispute issues are better handled on the table. And I think we have procedure which we have tried to put in place. All those informations are already in public domain about the procedures, and also what the issues will turn out to be if at the end of the day this national protest have not yielded the desired results, and people are not committed to try to resolve the issue.
Okay, we can only hope for the best, comrade. I want to thank you, register our appreciation for you coming on our show, Comrade Ayuba Wabba, President, Nigeria Labour Congress. We certainly hope all these efforts will yield the desired results.
Thank you very much, and thank you for giving us the opportunity for the facts to be laid out. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much. And so we're going to leave it there. Of course, TVC News will continue. We'll be on it right through the day up to tomorrow, as long as it takes, because it is an important national issue. So that's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.